It's
Wow.
it's it's so good to see you, Isaac. How are you?
Wow. It's not like we've been talking for like 10 minutes before
No,
before
no, there has been no pre-recording. There's been no
there's nothing.
script. We've
There's
just jumped into this as we always do.
we
Even
haven't
this whole project has been just a giant, giant improvisation, and I'm
has it?
happy it's finally coming to an end. Actually, I'm actually terribly sad because I've had so much fun on these characters.
When I turned in the final pages, I was just like, "Oh no. What are we going to do now?" Cuz this has been my
I,
life for
I,
like
I mean, what do we do?
7 8 months.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
I know
yeah.
it, and it's crazy how fast the time went with this book. Like it was. I mean, when I look at past my other books and the stuff I've been working on, I mean, my prose stuff takes me such short time compared to my comics. And Adam and Eternity took like a year. This book took me 7 months. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's a process, but the process is so worth it, especially when people finally get to check out the final ridiculous finale to
Oh
this
yeah.
first volume.
Oh my gosh. This just I told Peter Smart about
Hmm.
how like the ending. I didn't tell him anything. I just told him
Hmm.
that he was going to have a cameo and that he
Yep,
was going to be the emotional, like the glue that holds the entire thing together. Just
he really is. Yeah,
yeah,
and
honestly,
we really have to thank Peter as well for the start of our relationship as well.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
he started using a lot of your artwork for these little what would you call them?
Ferret stickers.
Like
Ferret.
ferret stickers,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. Hey,
like little ferret stickers of all these awesome characters.
if
And I
I'm
remember
able
when I would
to,
like scroll, yeah, maybe you can
I
share
might
some.
edit it and put it somewhere like
Perfect. Yeah,
there,
just
there.
somewhere
So
up on the screen,
well,
something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
editor Isaac
but
can
I
figure that
remember.
out. I can figure that out later.
No, and I remember when I was like first saw you and met you on the social media, and we started talking, and I was like, you got a little potential here for some art. I'm like, are you interested in comics? And then we started talking a little bit more, and I remember it's like, well, we have a lot of the same interests in the things we do. Why don't we make something together? And so that was really fun how it all started right there with our little connection and friends. And
Yeah.
then even like continuing the ferret theme. I never knew I'd become such a big fan of ferrets and possums at this point. It's insane.
Neither did I. Honestly, like going through the books, which I have here. I don't.
Oh, you're telling me that I don't we don't have our books in front of
What?
us? Like
What? We don't
you're
have
telling me you don't have these awesome. Oh
awesome
wow, wow,
possum,
just completely
awesome possum
disappearing.
books.
But yes, yes.
Yeah. So like
It's
I didn't know I could.
they came out really well.
I didn't know I could draw so many ferrets and not get sick of it. So
Yeah, I know, especially for 7 months of drawing these damn
oh
things
yeah.
over and over. I mean, we literally, I mean, from the beginning to all us viewers, to all our viewers, we did the marble style like 100% of the way. It
Oh yeah.
was multiple drafts on scripts. It was multiple drafts on scripts. It was multiple page layouts, multiple inks, multiple grayscale process. I mean, Isaac put in work for this project. There is no doubt. I mean, I'm merely just the writer and the storyteller at this point. I mean, it's always great to see how much less work I have to do when I have this guy right next to me who is just, just an insane
you're
talent on the rise.
you're pointing to
Yeah,
nowhere right now.
it's pointing that way. Yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
were pointing
Um
the opposite direction. So
yeah,
you're
it's
crediting
no,
the
it's actually this guy.
yeah.
It's see this villain right here? It's this guy who's the real hero.
He's the
No,
real
but
hero.
when
maybe
we I
maybe
remember
see
when we
volume
first
two. Then we start planning that out. That might be the case. You know.
yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know. That might be the
I
case.
remember when we first started talking about this, like when yeah, that's true. Hmm. And I remember when we first started talking about doing a project together, and we started off with our little Road Comics Presents short,
Oh yeah.
the summit. Oh my
Yeah,
god, I
yeah,
can't believe I forgot that.
yeah. In search
No,
of the
but
summit. Yeah, I
in
went
search
through
of the
that
summit,
recently, and
and
I thought the art wouldn't hold up, but it does. So I'm glad about that.
yeah, it's you. I saw the inkling in the beginning of your style, which I really liked, and it had
Yeah,
like this Sunday morning paper vibe that I grew up reading. My dad would always throw
that's
me the
the
paper.
that's
I
the
know that
effect of
sounds really
reading too much
old.
Calvin and Hobbes. The effect of reading too much
Right,
Calvin
and
and
I
Hobbes
I
when you grow up,
remember
right?
like I would find I don't know if you ever, yeah, exactly. I don't know if you ever had this, but first we would get when we were young, had like little reprints of like old Amazing Fantasy issues,
Hmm. Hmm.
Fantastic Four, and like the, those old ones that you were like, as a kid, you're like, whoa, like, these are like free comics in the
Oh
newspaper,
yeah.
and I always like read them plus all the little comics, and I would always love that more Garfield cartoon style, and I always
Oh
have, I
yeah.
mean, from all the animated shows we watched. So I always, as soon as I started seeing your art, I'm like, this kid has a talent to like do some fun comic stuff with it, even the comic comedy of it as well. So I remember we did In Search of a Summit, and that was like a really fun inspirational piece that I wrote, and I got to showcase you in my vast array of artists I've been lucky enough to work with. And then I remember afterwards, really like, all right, what do we want to do next? Um, and I remember I showed you some of my stories, and I have a dark mind, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
you have a very
And
dark mind. It's sort of concerning,
yeah, I
honestly.
do. Yeah, and if you anybody's read any of my other work, it goes to places that ask some questions that sometimes people don't want to answer. And it's hard stuff, but then I'm like, all right, let's challenge myself a little as a writer and a storyteller. What can Isaac and I create from scratch without nothing I've ever touched? And then we're like, well, we both love superheroes. I mean, who doesn't at this point?
Like
But
Martin Scorsese or something. Yeah,
some
I'm,
like
I'm gonna get
some
hate from my
realist,
film
yes,
friends.
yeah, I agree, like
My
some
film friends are gonna
realists
hate.
and some pragmatists can obviously not understand the superhero genre as best as we do, but that's the point of us being here. But I remember we're like, well, if we do a superhero story, what are we going to do? I mean, what has not been told before? And I was just like, what do we like? Like, what's like a weird hero we can create? And then I remember you just saying from the blue, like, why don't we just continue the ferrets? And I like looked at
Just
him
do
and
the
I looked
ferret.
at you. I'm like, imagine that's just like third person entering this memory in my mind. And I'm like, ferrets. It really is. I'm like, that's the answer.
That's what you do.
And I was like, and I remember like we came up with the title on the spot, like the Graceless Ferret, something that is just ridiculous and uber weird and just
Just a
doesn't make any sense.
just a guy who wants to be a hero that is incredibly bad at it.
Yeah, no,
And
that's exactly what we started off. And like I remember when we were talking about like why is he in the insane asylum? Like what did he do? And obviously you'll get those answers in issue 3, which it makes sense. Uh even though it's like a short couple pages, it makes sense
it's only like
why.
3 pages.
Yeah, it's like it makes sense why Will is in the asylum. It's a very tragic, very ridiculously
Sad.
awkward scene, and it's terrible because we've all been there with some form of being or animal.
Yeah,
Um,
especially
and
because that
sometimes
happened
we
to me
need a little
during
help. Yeah, yeah.
the creation of this book.
I
So
remember. I remember. Yeah,
that was a
those were some rough couple days.
well. Luckily, I got to do like a little special thing on the second to last page of issue 3. So
Yes, yeah, that was. I did notice that when I was looking at the final pages this
so
past week.
because
That was really heartfelt. Yeah.
so you right there. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
get issue 3 to see what
Issue
that is.
3, yeah. Issue
Issue
3
3,
really sums up
honestly,
what we've trying to do.
like I thought issue 2 would be my favorite since that's like the entire fighting stuff. Like this is one of my
Yeah,
favorite
it's the
pages,
fun
right?
stuff.
Oh crap!
Oh,
I can't see anything. Here, you
it's
know what?
disappearing.
Edit.
We'll
I'll
edit
edit it.
in the edited. Yeah,
I'll
we'll edit
edit
in
it
the
in
screen.
later.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I
But
agree.
like that was one
The
of my
fight.
favorite pages,
Mhm.
the fight. But like I didn't know that going through issue 3 that we would do all this emotional stuff, and that's become my favorite, like dialogue heavy scenes that are just trying to go and just like pull out your heart and just go, you want to have emotions right now? No.
Yeah, I mean it was weird because I remember when I was like first writing the first script, I was like, all right, campiness, ironic, satiric comedy of just like this insane patient trying to be a hero, and you don't know whether this ferret on his shoulder is imaginary or real. And I mean, it literally opens up. I remember we were talking about the opening. It literally opens up with him jumping out a freaking window of
Oh
the
yeah,
insane asylum,
that was one of my
and
favorite pages to draw, honestly.
yes,
Like
yeah,
so much
that
so
was
that
fantastic.
I made it the cover, which I will edit in because like it's yeah, see like it just flashes. Problem with
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember we came up with that too, and especially we wanted to satirize the costuming and
Oh
the
yeah,
how the Mark 1 versus Mark 2, and
yeah.
I loved how he was in his straitjacket most of the time, most of the first issue,
And then
and
there's
I
the
like
cocaine
the
dealer,
groundwork. Yeah,
the
yeah.
cocaine dealer's outfit.
Yeah, exactly. That was drooling from the mouth. Like there's obviously something wrong with this guy. What are our readers thinking as they're watching this? Um, I hope they're looking over their issues as they're watching this
I
too,
know
to like really
I'm
see,
doing that, so like
because we're gonna be going over pretty. But I remember we were trying to, when we were talking about doing the script, we were like, well, we want to solidify this relationship between Fred and Will, and we also want to introduce Vanta, who is obviously going to play, like, he's the linchpin character for both Arc 2 and Arc 3. And then we also wanted to introduce Perry, who is kind of like the real hero of the book.
yeah.
Like he actually has his glug together most of the time. So, you know,
Sorry, you
it
killed me.
was
You killed me. Honestly, I probably should have added Perry to one of the covers. So, like,
yeah, we have so much potential with Mr. Possum. It's quite crazy. Cuz he really is a hero by the end of this. But I remember with the first issue, we were like, all right, let's just lay the groundwork of characters. Let's lay the just obscenity of this book out in the wild. Like, let's really just be campiness, just awkward comedy, and just to the max. And I think we really pulled it off for everybody. I mean, issue 1 sold pretty well. It was like one of
honestly, yeah.
our best. What is the company's Row Comics' best selling books? And I was really stoked because I didn't know how people would take reception to such a weird. But I'm very thankful to all of you who had enough faith in both Isaac and I to deliver something that I don't really think you can get anywhere else. I mean, I've had friends who've read this. I've had schoolmates who've read this. I've had literally some of my professors, like
Oh, wait,
English
really?
literature major creative writing professors, read this, and they're like, "This is actually good." And I'm like, "What? I'm like, I didn't know this was." I was like, "This is just a fun side project at the moment that turned into something bigger than ever I could have thought."
And like, I know that for Christmas, my cousin, who's like, I think he's 5, he was reading issue 1, and he loved it so much that he wanted to get multiple copies for his friends for Christmas, just
That's really
giving out
cool.
issue 1. And I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, that's
Because like,
awesome.
cause like it was really weird because like my dad just came up to me. He was like, "Hey, Isaac, did you know that Finn wants to have to give copies to his friends?" And like all my cousins came in and they were sending me pictures of just them reading it. And then
That's cool.
like my best friend's dad actually, he came up to me like just randomly and was like he's like, "Hey, Isaac, can you sign my copy of issue 2?" And I'm just like, I've been to make it more awkward. He just went up, sign it for Danny. I'm like, but I've
Yeah, yeah.
put your last name the
How do
entire
you
time of
spell
this
Danny?
time.
How do you spell Danny? Can you?
I just spell it. It's
Yes,
not like I've
yes,
known you for
yeah,
10
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fantastic. No, it's really cool.
So
I
like,
mean, I remember we talking about like how you see your work out in the world, and at first it's like kind of awkward because
oh
you're
yeah,
like,
it's really awkward.
yeah, like how do you respond to somebody approaching you with your book, and you're like, whoa, you're reading this, like I didn't know people read this,
Yeah, like I was
and
surprised. I thought we were only gonna get like 2 or 3 people that
it's
actually
surreal.
wanted to read it, but
It's grown into something bigger than the both of us could have imagined, and
yeah,
I'm really stoked about it, which is like just the coolest thing. But I mean,
I'm
we even nailed on the head too when we are doing the original planning for all ages. We really
yeah.
wanted it to be like an all ages just book, and because in a very gray real.
So I'm just laughing about issue 2, page 14, because
Oh,
I had to censor that page.
yes, yeah, yeah.
You remember
There
that? That
was
like
there
the
a
original.
lot of the yeah, a
I,
lot
you
of
know, I'm
the
just gonna
bleeping.
give up on showing off the book and just I'm gonna edit it in later.
Mhm. I remember we did the first rough draft of the script, and I had some cuss words in there,
Oh
and then
yeah,
you're like, wait, like my brother and I came up with this word that I think would be safer, and I think it'd be more fun, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's hear it. And it
it's
said
more fun
glug,
because
and it makes so much sense.
do you think like in TV shows when people are insane they say like all these curse words, right? But like in this, they're just like they're not gonna say curse words. They're gonna say bug because like what's the point of saying curse words when you're insane when you can
The
make up
other stuff, yeah,
words and just say that they're words that mean something, right? I've actually gotten some of
yeah,
my
and
friends to say glug, so like it's even better.
that's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was a perfect substitute, as well as a great driving force because I you definitely steered me into the all ages after something I normally did all right before. So I like that. I've definitely enjoyed shifting for a superhero for everybody, especially with like how the journey ends up. A lot more people can relate to the character as
Oh
well
yeah,
as the story goes on.
yeah,
I mean, and they like even towards the end of issue one where we have the two suit ups, you know, the Mark One versus Mark
oh
Two,
yeah, yeah.
and we have
I'm just
Fred pushing
gonna
Will the whole
point
time.
right there and just
Yes, just point over the
point
screen, it'll
point,
pop
and
up
I'll just add
somewhere.
it in later. This is gonna be a joke in the entire video, isn't it?
Yes, it pretty much will. Uh, but what was great was, you know, we had Fred, who was the driving force of the plot, and I think that was always meant to be the case, was to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
our
We always wanted it.
ferret friend to, yeah, to propel what we were trying to do. And I kind of like that idea of, and you know, the typical hero's journey of like the fairy godmother or like the wizard, and Fred was really our ferret wizard with Will.
Sorry,
And no, I mean it is comedy. And
Ferret
these are the
Wizard.
things I have to think about. These are the things I have to think about as a writer. Like, who is Fred? He's the ferret wizard. And it really came. I love the relationship we built between the two, and it
It's
did
really
hit
cute,
a.
honestly. It's really cute.
It is,
Just
yeah, it is really cute, and
like this page in issue two where he literally bites Vance's butt trying to
yep,
save Will. Just
yep, yep.
and there's a
It's
lot more of Fred biting in issue three. So
Yeah, there was issue three is also, you know, we have to mention both issue one and issue three will be about 35 pages plus. Both issue one and issue three were 35 pages plus, and I'm
issue three is 40, I think.
yeah,
It's
I mean
40.
it's definitely it's both for one and three are thick issues, and issue two was always meant to be the traditional what most middle arcs are for superhero stories, but
Yeah,
is the big fight. And but you know when we were arguing of like why Vanta is the villain, like how can we make him a villain but also like not too villainous? So you know we set that up we
the
set up the
first meeting.
bones in issue one with
Yeah,
you know him throwing a doctor out a window, him hijacking a police car, and him just like straight up throwing Will to the ground after he found him. And you're like this whole time, you're like, what? Who is this guy? Who is this wacko with this red eye and black face? And
he sucks the
and
life force out of people. Like
yeah, yeah, really. And then
that
issue
that was
two
something
was
I came up
always
with, it wasn't it? Just like
yeah,
the
it was, yeah, it
'cause
was because he was like the actually super powered one.
yeah, and
He was like
there's
the actual experiment, the actual cyborg, you know, android,
and then we
whatever
just
we want to
decided
call
to
him at
give
this point.
then we gave Will some like extremely weird powers.
Yeah, I mean, it was always meant to be that way.
Like
Like Vanta would make sense scientifically or at least
like
futuristically.
sci-fi.
Yeah, and then Will was always going to be what the hell?
Yeah.
And that it really was. But issue two was really fun because we got to like flesh out Vanta. Why is he so angry? And that really is the root of all villains as well. Like it's just an anger towards something that they don't understand or that they're trying to solve. And this anger was like, why did these aliens do this to me?
Yeah.
And that really paved the path for also how we'd introduce Kiblins because you got the little spoiler of the Kiblins at the end of issue one with the whatever happened to Perry Possum.
Oh yeah.
Um, and you're like, okay, so these aliens are abducting these broken or like insane people and like giving them superpowers. Okay. And then like obviously you'll get some answers in issue three as to why they picked out specific people. Even in issue two, you see some of that in the interrupted program message. I
Oh yeah,
remember when I was writing the script for
that
that,
that was
Isaac.
that was so fun.
That was
Honestly,
fun. Yeah, yeah. It was. I wanted it to be issue 2 was very much so the animated action sequence, and the interrupt the special program with an urgent plot development was me as an author writer breaking into the story. Like, all right, hold on, we have to give you some background as to what is going to happen for the setup of issue 3. And I love what you did with the DNA,
honestly,
with the
yeah.
shifting of the man to the possum, and then
Honestly,
just
that was inspired by the opening, like the entire sequence in Spider-Man 2002,
yeah, mhm,
where
that
'cause
fantastic Sam
I,
Raimi, man, Sam
I watched
Raimi.
that movie so much when I was younger, so like,
Oh, I remember like it just that's like one of the greatest. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
Sam Raimi was so campy and awesome. He just embodied the essence of superhero craft,
it's
and I think
so good.
we are carrying in that tradition with our own little superhero.
Yeah,
But it was great doing the fight sequence and our callbacks to all our favorite fighting. I mean, the Mortal Kombat reference, Street Fighter, all that fun stuff.
especially the bit that had to be censored.
Yeah, the little bit that had to be censored, that was fun. But what was really cool is since the individual issues were in grayscale as well, we should let everybody know that when we release the trade paperback, we were actually gonna be able to print in grayscale with accent color, as it was always meant to be. So if you've been
Oh
reading
yeah,
the digitals over the physicals, you've noticed that there has been, reds and blues and greens. That was always the intent. It's just, printing costs and all that BS.
yeah.
But for the trade paperback, we're going to have grayscale with color. So if anybody's been waiting, just reading the digitals, this is going to be a really fun book to jump into as a
There may,
decent size,
yeah, there may or
as
may
like a
also
decent
be
size.
some concept art too. So
Yes, I think there's going to be. We're planning on doing concept art. We're
like
doing
15
process
or so
stuff.
pages.
And then I think I'm even handing you some of the reins for a little 5-pager
Oh yeah,
for a little a bonus story for all of us who pick up the trade as well. So the little 5-page story written and drawn by this man here,
I might,
this lovely man.
I might have him plot it. So like,
Yeah, I might help a little. I mean,
yeah, because like
but
it's a team effort.
we'll work
It's a team
something out.
effort. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, the trade will be a great. But let's focus back on issue
Issue 3.
3. What can we tease without ever saying anything that happens? It's always been a hard thing as well with any project is you and I get to see a lot of obviously we're the creators, so we see everything that goes on behind the scenes. And sharing those pages with like a select, not even like a rare few, maybe like one person gets to see like what we're actually working on until we release it.
Yeah, I've
But
shared
issue 3,
some
like
pages, so
yeah,
just
yeah,
just
it happens. It's
here and
okay. As
there.
it's just a little spoiler here and there. Other creators and friends and all that stuff. Uh, but issue 3, let's see.
I know there's one sequence that
So it
like
all
if, I know you were a fan of the ferret DNA sequence, that the possum DNA sequence actually.
yeah, yeah.
That there's more of that in
Mhm.
issue 3. So and is it better?
Yeah, yeah.
Not.
There's gonna
I
be
mean,
a
yeah, it's better. It's I like it more. So
what's also cool is to get to see you as an artist grow from our first work all the way out through Graceless Ferret. I mean, it really gets more dynamic as it goes on. And the fledgling artist has now turned into a full blown story artist at this point, which is awesome for you, and I'm very
for the
proud of
term
you for that.
graceless artist.
Yes, yes. I mean, there's a you'll see a shift in the change as well in the narrative because now we've finished the overture of what Will Pfeiffer is, and like we're entering the symphony of what could be next. And I'd never thought when we started this, and I think I might write a little afterword of like the little emotions and stuff that pulled into it. But really, when we started this, I had no clue where the story was going. And we talked about it, we jazzed on it, and we
Yeah,
really jazzed it in Marvel style the entire way through. Like
yeah.
every month, every day, we talked, we did art together. We are like, can we jam and do this? Like what do we want to do with this book? So it started off as the raw ideal. I mean, we created our own Avengers, basically. We're the next MCU at this point. Uh,
Uh, I want to pat
it
ourselves on the
started
back
with
too
an
much.
idea, and yeah, yeah. We
Maybe
we
just
started
a
with an
little.
idea and we ran with it. Yeah. We ran with this too. I mean, we fully embraced the weirdness and insanity of this book together, and as well as our partnership, which I thought is what really nailed the two of us off the bat together, was just the sheer creativity and funness with this book. So I really think that. But I remember when we first, as the project kept going, I think you and I both realized that Will, Fred, Perry, Vanta, they really like were extensions of ourselves as people.
Oh yeah, especially
And yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
especially with like Vanta where he punches things. Like,
Yeah.
um, there may or may not be a few patched walls in my house. So
Yeah. I remember there was a few days where the script, I remember like you were like, where's issue two script? Like we need to get this going. And I'm like, I know, like it's half done, and I've been so lazy. And it was like we worked on this a whole way together, and it turned in the story. Oftentimes I've noticed this as a writer, the story oftentimes takes over, and the characters really started coming to life by the end of issue one script. And as I was writing issue two, I scrapped the first draft and started redoing it, and
yeah,
I
I
left a lot
remember I
open
noticed.
to interpretation as we started going on, especially with the dynamicness of issue two.
There's a
And then
bit
when
in issue three.
yeah,
Were you going to
issue
talk about that?
three.
Where there's like good 5 pages where I just went crazy.
Yeah, no, I remember I like
Honestly,
left the door open because our
you're like,
partnership got so
go
good. I left
go
the door
crazy,
open.
Isaac, go crazy. And so
Hmm.
and I
I
added
literally,
I
yeah,
added a
yeah.
cameo from myself. Maybe I should have added one of you. Honestly,
No, I'm
uh,
not the screen man. I want to be behind the pen.
uh, let's just say that you're what Vanta looked like before he was.
Oh yes, exactly. That's what I look like in my dreams. That's why I write such dark things.
Wait, I mean, we already revealed with Vanta. Oh no, we didn't.
Yeah. So that's a definitely a way to save.
There's there's a ton of stuff in issue three that I can't wait to just have out there and just. I know my sister, like she's 8 and she's
Mhm.
been going. She's like, Isaac, when is the next issue out? I want to read.
I love
I'm like,
that. I love that.
so like on Monday when you put up with the pre-order, I'm like, hey Ella, come here, come here. And she goes, what? I'm like, see this page on Amazon? What does it say? She goes, is that issue three? I'm like, yeah. She just starts running around like Kevin in Home Alone, just like,
That's awesome.
you know.
That's really cool.
So
Yeah,
like just
that's really
seeing
cool.
how it affects other people is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, even my girlfriend, she was reading it in Germany, and she had read all my previous work, and she was like, "I love this story." She's like, because she thinks I'm very funny in person, which I'm very thankful for. But I was like, I didn't know I could write this comedically or this just ridiculously. And she's like, I think this might be my favorite story of yours.
Oh
And I
really?
was like, and I said, I think, it was, she said it was a tie between Adam and Eternity.
Okay.
Just for this, I'm
Okay,
gonna say
that's
it's Will
good.
Pfeiffer. Uh,
Okay, good. I mean, it's not like I added an Adam and Eternity Easter egg in issue one, so like
no, I mean there was no, maybe a little Easter egg here and there, but
maybe I might add it to the edit. You know,
yeah, maybe just a little plug right there.
maybe just a little bit.
Um, but this really was like it, and what's surprising, the big universe I plan to build, this easily fits into the rebirth of a new universe. So I
Oh,
mean, future crossovers, I don't know. Are we
I've been
insane?
thinking about some
Probably.
stuff. Been thinking about some
I
stuff.
think I think you and I are both where, I mean, right after this, you guys will be seeing more of Isaac and I. Let's just say that. Like there will be more Isaac Child and Robert Deshaies the second. There will be more creativeness from our team. It's
I mean,
coming.
honestly, Robbie shot me down with some crossover ideas. I wanted to like add inserts for the summit, like add some like in issue three, we may or may not be going to Everest. So like I wanted to add like an Easter egg. I guess Everest is the Easter egg, but
Yeah, it kind
I
of
guess
it kind of
I
is.
guess it. So I probably could have added like the starship. So, like, but I know
Maybe
you would have
something
shot.
like
I know
that.
you would have shot that down. So
Well, it's funny because when you start building universes and you start building, you always work off with the base story. And now that we have the base story, we really can leave the door open for the expansion of something fun. Um, and I think that's really what it all comes down to at the end of the day, is like we really created something super fun, super heroic, um, just very family and kid friendly as well as adult friendly. I mean, I think the last chapter of the first issue of the first story arc, will hit more of our adult readers as well,
Oh
and
yeah,
as well as our teen readers. There's some good
it's very
this
dialogue heavy near
it's
the end.
very it's dialogue heavy, and this script, like I was saying before, like sometimes the story takes over, and for issue 3 the story really did take over,
Oh yeah.
and like arcs really round out really well. There's momentary loss and then there's momentary gain, so it's gonna be fun to see what people have to think of the final issue. And it's so weird because I don't want to say final issue because it's not the final issue of the series, but the series is going to take a turn when we return. So it is the final issue of the first arc. Is definitely the best way to put it.
Yeah, because we've been planning that this is going to be more than 3 issues for a while.
Yeah, it really has, and I know. And the thing is, we're both so busy. We're both kicking it. We're kicking butt in school, and then we all have our personal lives. But we really are both artists and creatives, and the comics are our love, and we're sticking with it. So there is more to come.
I love comics too much. So
I think everybody who is in comics, who works in comics, who reads comics, we all love it so much that I don't think we'll ever give it up. And like it's just one of those things. Like I literally want to turn every single one of my ideas I've ever made, whether it be prose stories or poems, like I want it turned into comics because it's my love. And it's just what we want to do as creators as well. And I think you and I together as well can do quite a bit of fun with this world we have continued to build, and we'll hopefully maybe invite some friends in as well to have some fun with us.
I've been thinking about asking some of my friends if they wanted to just do some like fan art or something.
Yeah, fan art, stories. I mean, we're leaving the door open for a lot of great stuff as well. I mean, if you think about it, it's just a single city and we have a good group of heroes. It leaves us
Sorry, I'm just laughing about what I named the city. So
oh yeah, I mean it's like a perfect name too for just your traditional hero city. Hydro City just makes a lot of sense. But also like,
Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yes, yeah, there we go. There we go. I mean, we have Kate's Asylum because you and I both love a quite insane writer named Donny Cates. We have
might be my favorite writer.
He's good. Yeah, he's definitely good. Honestly. But it's gonna be fun what we have coming up with. But again, with issue 1, issue 2, I love how we each hooked onto a theme. So like issue 1 was not only introduction, but like the birth of a hero. So it's like the origin. Issue 2 was the attack on the hero, and issue 3 is gonna be, is it retirement, or is it moving on to something more graceful? Would you say that, Isaac?
I mean, given the fact that he literally is wearing a trash bag for most of his first issue, I guess he would be more graceful.
Imagine we would I think we would certainly hope so at this point. Yes. Yeah. And then even
bound to be pretty loud. So.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the amount of ferrets and possums we shoved into issue 3. I think that's a record number. I mean, I honestly want to call Guinness tomorrow.
Are you referring to page 17 of issue 3?
I think it's more than just page 17 at this point, Isaac. I think we have exceeded a world record.
I mean, given the amount of ferrets I've drawn on my computer, maybe.
I mean, even introducing the ferret, like when we talk about this book with our friends, like, hey, I just released a comic. And they're like, oh, what's it called? I'm like, it's called Will Fyfer, the Graceless Ferret. They're like, what? And I'm like, it's just use hashtag WFGF if you want to talk about
it. Use it on Twitter, use it on that.
And I'm like, it does take up a lot of characters for us typists, but it's a quintessential name for the book. Honestly, like if it wasn't this, it couldn't have become true.
Honestly, the logo was the first thing I designed for the series.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember as soon as you sent that to me, as soon as we started actually getting serious about this book, and you sent me logos, little drafts, and character sketches, that logo came across my wire, and I'm like, we're doing this. This is it. Like, this really is the essential. I mean, look at that. It's like a perfectly drawn in, plaque it on anything. It works fantastically well. You did a great. It did. It could be a
I
sticker.
mean,
It went perfectly well. And even when we were talking about like for doing printing, design of the book, because I do all the editorial work and the publishing work for the company. Um, I liked how we started with the monotone color on the back, and I like doing like the little synopses because when we get most comics, so single issues at the stores, it's always ads on the back.
oh
But
yeah,
I'm like, why don't we
who needs
do like
ads?
book synopses? Like, why don't we do like little book synopses for each title to like have like a little unique feel with the Row Comics vibe? So I think like the not only was this a really cool stepping stone for the company, but also like a new introduction into like this new format that we've been able to produce for like global scale. For like a lot of people, like anybody can go on Amazon and buy this book, and it's not going to break your budget. I mean, we're young authors. We know what it's like to buying books of our creators,
Oh yeah.
especially with how much content's out there. Like we have to select and choose, and we knew that this book was we're going to take a risk with this book, but we put it out there, and we have fans and readers, and I can't thank you guys enough for taking a chance with us on this oddly insane fun book.
It's been one of the best times of my life, honestly. It's like a
Hey,
roller
and
coaster, just like
yes, yeah. And what's cool is we got to see like the inspiration of the ethos really of my company was to really develop and bring up young artists along with me, because I love to see other people achieve the same amount of artistic freedom and artistic creativity that I've been fortunate enough to have and express. And really, it's when Isaac came into my life, this young, youthful, spirited energy. This is very much so. Hey, this is good stuff, man. And I really wanted to share this with you and us for be able to finish the whole story after 7 months of working crazy hard on this. I remember when you sent me the text, like, "What do I do with my life?"
yeah.
I was
That was like 3 days ago. It was just
like,
I
right?
finished
Like, did I
lettering.
hit the pinnacle?
I finished lettering. I finished coloring. I finished inking. What do I do now?
Like,
Here's
did
what
I
I'm
hit
gonna
the
do.
pinnacle?
I'm
Have I
gonna
done?
gonna come up with an idea for that 5-page short story.
Yeah,
That's what
yes.
I'm gonna do.
And and I remember, and I sent him this long voice message, and I'm like, dude, this is only the beginning. I'm like, you have started walking down this path, and this ain't no stopping at this point. So I'm very
You
excited
can't
because
you can't end the story
I've
where we
given
left it
him,
off.
yeah, I've given him the curse. I'm like, we ain't gonna stop creating now, and we're not probably gonna stop creating ever. So this is fun stuff right here. So, and then because I feel like we've talked a lot about the story and us and how we created this together, but I want to know, how was a lot of the process for you with this? I mean, because we really did we did that open loose style between the
Oh
two
yeah.
of us, which I really enjoyed. But when it came to you creating these awesome pages, from the dynamics to the emotion and the characters to like just the both comedy, action,
Oh yeah.
and scene dropping as well. I mean, you did both large scale city work, you did personal small character growth. You really developed as an artist. So tell me more about how you really tackled this project, especially coming from the first little 5-page short we did in Search of a Summit.
Oh yeah. Because like in Search for the Sun, it was just like, I mean, I'm gonna say teeny mountain, but it's actually Everest, right? So, like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
little teeny
yeah.
mountain. It's like just like little triangles. All you do is triangles. But like with this, there's rectangles. There's various shapes. There's like the scene where he's in clouds. There's the scene where he's in an alley. There's a scene. Actually, most of it is in alleys, but like there's a scene where he's jumping out of a window. There's a scene where he's climbing cars. There's all this stuff, and it's just like it's a very big contrast compared to what I've done before. So like,
Yeah, especially when you go from like stilled Ferret uh redesigns of pop culture characters
oh yeah,
to start developing backgrounds, whole different characters, even inserting characters we didn't even have in the script as well, like just on the fly,
oh yeah,
was
yeah.
really impressive, which was I really
Because
enjoyed as
cause like
well.
you don't see streets that are completely empty. There are always like one or two people on the
Yeah,
street,
yeah, there we go.
especially in big
We have a
cities. There's like
populated city. We have hobos living in the sewer. We have
yeah,
the we have random people, paparazzi.
oh yeah, they're coming
We have
soon.
a man with a ferret carriage. That's what's up.
Wonder who that is.
Like we yeah, I wonder what good friends of ours that is. His name, his initials maybe P and S. Great guy, great guy. Honestly, thank you, Peter. You have been the spiritual drive of this entire project. And we thank you for it. Even like when we did all the fun little artsy like kind of pinups, I would guess you would call them
Oh
at
yeah,
the end of issue
yeah.
one with the Batman #1
Batman
callback, and
#1.
then
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Issue
issue two with
2
just
had
like our
the
little happy
Happy
holidays,
Holidays.
little
Yeah.
parrot, and then issue 3 we have a fun little epilogue, I guess you'd call it. I can't say too much because I don't want to spoil it. There's a little 2-pager at the end,
Oh,
which
that
will,
thing. Okay,
yeah. There's a little 2-pager that I think I think a lot of people will enjoy.
Honestly, that makes me like insert character name here more. Honestly,
Yeah, it really does.
it's really fun.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it does.
and
Yeah, that was I.
it's gonna be way better if you read the digital version for those pages, because honestly,
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think
they're
so. But that's what we have people look forward to the trade as well. Is
oh yeah,
you're gonna get
the
you're gonna get that.
trade's gonna be nice.
The trade is, I mean, not, to think about 7 months in a trade, it's gonna be about like 125, 132 pages. So you're gonna get like some decent content. And guess what? We're doing $9.99 or less. I mean, it's we're imaging firsting it. We want
We want people
like
to buy this.
like no joke, this is for your neighbor, this is for your sister, this is for your cousin, this is for your best friend who doesn't even know you read comics, this is for your teachers who
This is for
you
your
say no,
sister-in-law
this
who
is
you
what it
secretly
means to
hate.
be a hero. Yeah,
I mean,
this is for everyone.
yeah, it's for everyone.
Yeah, and
Especially,
even when we're planning to do some more book signings by summer and end of the year, so I definitely will be taking a lot of these single issues with me and signing a ton, because it's just like a fun book to talk about and share,
oh yeah,
especially when you look at it at the in the kind of little pantheon we built of the Rogue Comics collection. Like this is a very big highlight, especially for like the next step and the publishing aspect and the creativity of the project. So this is fun stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, but as an artist as well, I remember every issue we talked about how much you grew
Oh yeah.
with the story as well. And I think it's time we have to pick out who is our really favorite our character. Who is our favorite
Favorite
character of
character?
this? Yeah,
You want to go first? I
I
have to
think
think about it. I have to think about
yeah,
it.
I can go first. It's definitely Fred.
That's
Fred the Ferret is the heart and soul of this book for me. Because I in my head when I was writing the characters, I was very much so Fred and Isaac was Will. And not
Are
to
you
say
saying that
like in like
I'm mentally insane? Because I would agree.
I think no, I am too. That's why I think it's okay. But I think as a metaphysical fourth wall break, that he and I both embodied the aspects of each of those really well. So I think that I love, but also Fred had some great points across this that kind of just flowed out of me, and I think it really helps a lot of the other characters be like, oh yeah, like this makes a lot of sense.
Remember that
So
Fred's
yeah,
the only like
Fred was my favorite.
Fred's the only character that we basically allowed to actually cuss. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
Well, I
really
know.
was.
I think Santa does a little bit at the
I
end of
think
issue one, but like,
I think there was like a slight, yeah, there was one censor that we had in issue 2 with him. Oh, and issue 3. Yes, yeah, there was one.
was there a censor in
Mhm.
issue 3?
No, I think we may have actually never mind. I think we may have substituted that with Glug
Yeah, I
because
think we did
Glug is
Glug.
awesome. Glug is love, Glug is life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for characters, can I say the character that hasn't been revealed yet at all?
I mean, if you're talking about yourself,
No, no. We've already spoiled that. I'm in issue 3. I'm not gonna say.
oh,
I think you know.
okay, we have to save it because like there like a surprise amount of people that come into the book that I think we have to wait. So of our core cast, I should say, of our core cast.
That's still a spoiler.
Okay. Yeah.
Issue 3, page
Okay.
38, final panel.
The hero. The real hero of
the real hero of the story. All I'm gonna say is
literally, yeah,
that's
yeah,
it. Just
yeah,
meep.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Oh wait, no. Then real real hero. Besides that other character, is on page 38. So
Yeah. Okay. I
yeah,
accept that. That's like
that's
that is
that's an
definitely,
acceptable answer.
yeah, that is
Because
definitely acceptable answer. And that just prompts our readers to make it all the way to the end of this journey with us.
maybe there's more than one character, and I'll point it out when the issue comes out. But like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely get that out there. Yeah. The
hey, maybe there's
and
cameos of some
yeah,
people
that's true. That is
or
true.
animals. So
Hmm. All the above at this point, honestly. I mean, we've stuffed animated animals, weird enhanced humans, cyborgs, aliens from distant worlds, hobos. I mean,
hobos that sort of
what
look
else
like
have
your
we
old
shoved
English
into this book?
teacher.
I didn't know that. That's pretty good.
I told you
That
that
it was
already.
the case.
I told you that already. Like,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
yeah, I
That's
based
good.
it
That's
off of what
good.
my English teacher. Yeah.
All right. Well, since I'm studying to become an English professor, that's gonna be I'll make it in the future books is basically what you're saying.
Well, you,
I know one day I'm gonna hand you a script. I know one day I'm gonna hand you a script and you're gonna hate me.
I
So
think that
I'll
was
expect it. I'll
I think
expect
that
it.
was issue 2. Really, was me hating you.
That way, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did kick your ass on issue 2. I really did. That
Honestly,
was
yeah. Because like, there's some pages where I'm just like,
yeah.
why?
Because if anybody who's Isaac knows, he's read my scripts, but I write in big block
Oh
descriptions and
yeah.
I'm like, I want this to happen between pages 12 and 15. And he looks at me, we're on phone, and he's like, what? I can't do this. Like, what do you mean you want all these 3 paragraphs shoved into 3 pages? Like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, all right, you're right. I'll break this up and I'll help you out.
And
But
I'm just like,
there is definitely
what
some
is
days where I'm
going
like, all
on?
right. Yeah.
This is too
Yeah,
wordy.
yeah, there's definitely a lot. If anybody knows in the comic universe, Alan Moore scripts, I try
Oh,
not to be as complicated as him, but so it's
just or like those pages in Spawn where it's just full on
yeah, yeah,
paragraphs
there's just dialogue upon dialogue.
and you're just
And
like,
that's what I think
uh,
also we balanced really well too, like
like there's
the
some pages that
dialogue and
don't have
action
any
in issue
dialogue, and there's
1.
some pages that
Yeah, yeah.
like like the special plot development in issue 2 has one, two, three full pages that don't have dialogue, and it's just the images that tell the story. So
Yeah, it really is. And we bent into the as we got more comfortable together with each other, we bent into the silent storytelling, which I think is the really the pinnacle and landmark of a creator duo when you can do powerful silent pages. Even a lot of the dialogue breaks in issue 3 between character talks is really, really some good stuff with the expressions on our characters' faces. We had some fun things there. And then like even when we were talking about designs of characters as well, we did a fantastic job with the costumes. Vanta looked like a perfect, you know, sci-fi villain here. Villain. Ferret, obviously Fred was just perfect as he was.
I mean,
Ferrets
like
are just perfect
The
as they
Kiblins
are.
are aliens that I've been drawing for like 10 years at this point.
Yeah, I know. I remember when we talked about doing
I'm
the
like,
Kiblins, it was like, no, the Kiblins are here. They've been here this whole time. And I'm like, oh
I think
shit.
I have a drawing from like 5th grade of just an alien that looks extremely like a Kiblin just flying around.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's
And
actually
even we
the rabbit character that I have in
yep.
that's cameos.
I was gonna say there's the
He's in
rabbit
that
character.
he's in that exact same drawing.
Hmm.
So like I may or may not have decided to add them into this book. So will they appear in later stories? I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe in a
Maybe at this
5-pager.
point.
Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like I'm really stressing you out with this 5-pager.
No, no, you're not. I'm just trying to come up with ideas because I didn't hear about this until today.
Yeah, I know. It was a surprise
It's like, surprise, you're
creator
done, but
talk
not really.
dropped
Here's
on
5
you.
more. Here's 5 more pages.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm not releasing him at this point. Like he's stuck with me, and and I'm keeping him. He's stuck with me at this point. But no, I don't worry. I'll hand you some assistance with that. There's I have an opening in my schedule always for you.
Yay! That's gonna make it easier because
Fun stuff. Yeah. So how do we wrap this up? What do we want to tell? What like I don't do you because I mean nothing ever ends. Like let's just face the facts here.
I feel
And
like
really
where we leave the characters
Graceless,
in issue 3, we can definitely have people wanting more. So,
yeah, I 100% agree with the people are going
especially
to
with
want
a
more.
certain character that his ending is left pretty ambiguous. So,
I think yeah, I mean we close doors and we open up a lot of new ones. And I think that's always the point of start when you have a story is if it comes full circle, that's great. Um, but we also want to leave the door open for a lot of more things. And I
mhm.
think that's also the best stories as well. You want to leave something open for whether it be interpretation or for more creativeness. Um, and that was always really the goal of the first three arcs when we discussed it was going to be a three-story arc. We're like, all right, let's aim for this and we'll see how the reception is. And I think the reception has been quite well enough that we are both confident that
Yeah,
we have many roads to walk, many roads and paths to lead.
maybe like
um
we might have an issue
it's
where Fred's a main character and
yeah,
just
yeah,
have
that's
like
true.
him running around the city just scouting out crime.
Doing Fred, just doing Fred Ferret the stuff, you know. It's
Fred
just what it
teaming up
is.
with a certain other character that's in issue 3. Just like his
You
team up.
really, yeah, it's gonna be that. You know, that actually is the inkling of an idea. I think you just spurred my brain up on that.
Maybe that might be like another 5 page that's just gonna be at the end of the trade.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun.
Or maybe like a two
No, but
pager. So
yeah, because we could honestly we could do a whole 30-page on just that those two alone,
honestly, yeah.
easily. But it's awesome. We've come to the end of the first chapter. We've not said anywhere near close to a goodbye, and I think first off, I also want to just thank everybody who's read the book, everybody who's tuned in to watch this little shindig get together. It's always fun when Isaac and I just talk with ourselves about the book, but it's really about talking with you guys and what you want to take away from this. And when I finished writing the script, I remember turning it into Isaac and he read it over, and I think he and I both agreed that this was a perfect summing up of what we aim to do.
Yeah.
Um, we wanted to be both heartfelt, um, heroic, and what we really wanted. I think what we both really idealized is who like what does it mean to be a hero? Because that really was the core of this book. Who can be a hero and what does it mean to be? Um, and you know, with the world we live in, I think we still need heroes, and we always need heroes. And we have people like Will Fyfer to protect us from that is my finishing statement on arc one.
I don't know what to follow that up with, so man, like I'm not good with words. That's why he's the word guy, and I'm just the
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
that draws.
It's it's this guy right here. It's this
Like
guy right here who is the actual talent of this book.
no, that would be that guy right behind me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Well, let's
pointing at
both
you.
agree it's always been let's both agree it's always been 50-50 and we can
Okay, yeah,
close the
yeah, we
doors
can close it.
on this first. All right, so when to expect the final issue? March 9th, issue 3, A Kick in the Teeth, part 3. The first arc of Will Fight for the Graceless Ferret has concluded, and I need you to get your hands on it. I need you to go to roguecomics.com. I need you to go to our Twitters. I need you to go to any link you see. We both have pinned tweets. Order the whole series or wait for the trade. The trade will come out most likely in May, June. We're gonna give some
Or
room
do
for the
both,
single issues.
or do both.
Yeah, or do both. Buy the singles and buy the trade. Buy the digitals. Help us out. We're young
I mean,
creators. We want to.
I don't have the digitals.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair
mean,
because I
they are in our Dropbox at
and they're
any
on my
time.
hard drive.
So
So like,
yeah, they're there. But really, this is we got this for you guys. We want to hear what you have to think. So really do when you finish reading these books, we always love what we like to hear back. Even if it's bad things, because we want to improve as writers and creators. I'm always open to honest criticism. It hurts sometimes, yes, but I want to hear what you have to think. And don't be afraid to message us either. We're always here. We're always out in the open. Uh, we want to share this love of the story we've made. Um, and I think that sums up what I want to say.
Well, I don't know what else to say there.
I'm sorry. I keep closing these doors upon you.
Yeah, so like
I know that's partially my fault. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that if you don't buy issue 3, I will come to your house and I will stare at you while you sleep.
Yeah.
And that's a promise.
Yeah. That's a promise, as well as he not gonna lie, this guy has ferrets and possums. He will come to your house with Fred. And I think Fred, he's not as helpless as he is on this background at all.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why I drew him like that. I thought it was a good image. So
It was and the homage to every one of our covers was fantastic too. And I think people are really gonna appreciate both issue 3s as well.
because like issue 1 is a homage to like Spider-Man, and then
Mm-hmm.
issue 2 is an homage to the Civil War poster, and
Mm-hmm.
issue 3 is a panel from Spider-Man issue 50. So like,
Mm-hmm.
tell her
Fantastic stuff.
tell her all my stuff
Dudes,
lies.
we're all pretty nerdies. Yeah, we're all pretty nerdies.
Yeah. All right.
Wonderful.
So I mean, I don't have anything
Wonderful.
else to say.
Well, I
Do
was
you have
glad.
anything else to say?
Yeah, I think it just say it was glad getting together. I was glad sharing this with all of you. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to creating more and sharing some more gracelessness in the future with
Yeah.
everybody. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for coming out to check us out. Read Will Fyfer, read Road Comics, and definitely support this kid in the future. He is going to be a great upcoming artist.
All right. Well, that's
That's a wrap.
that's a wrap.